I paid off my parents' house while they were busy writing me out of the will. Now they're living in a storage unit and begging me to come home. The door is locked from my side. 4 years ago, my parents sat me down at the kitchen table I had grown up eating at and told me I was an embarrassment. I was 24, working 2 jobs, sleeping on a friend's couch, sending them $400 every month because my dad's back had gotten bad and my mom refused to go back to work. $400 I didn't have. I missed rent twice doing it. My brother Callum never sent a cent. Callum, who my parents introduced at every family gathering as the successful one. Callum, who worked in finance and wore watches that cost more than my car, and somehow always had a reason he couldn't chip in. Too many expenses, investment tied up. You know how it is. They never pushed him. They pushed me. Then my girlfriend Priya, who I had been with for 3 years, who had met my parents, who had sat at that same kitchen table, told me I had no future. Not enough ambition, she said. She started spending weekends at her co-worker Rohan's apartment. I found out through Instagram, a photo, matching dinner plates. When I told my mom, she said, maybe you should have taken her out more. When I told my dad, he said, Callum's girlfriend seems very happy with him. I was at my lowest point, and they handed me a shovel. The will came 6 months later, not the official version. Callum told me over the phone, almost bored. Mom and dad updated everything. The house, the savings, all of it goes to him. You get nothing. He paused. They said you'd understand. I understood perfectly. I quit both jobs and took a contract position on a deep-sea cable installation crew operating out of Aberdeen, Scotland. Brutal, freezing, 16-hour shifts on a vessel that smelled like diesel and wet gear. I was gone 14 months. No rent, no Priya, no $400 transfers, just wages landing in an account I never touched. I came home with $187,000 and a credit score I had rebuilt on a single secured card, paid off every month without fail. My parents had fallen behind on the mortgage, 3 payments missed. My dad's medical bills had gotten worse, and Callum suddenly had his own financial complications. The house I grew up in, the house they had always talked about leaving to him, was 4 months from foreclosure. I bought it, not for them, in my name. Cash offer, as is. The bank took it in 8 days because no one else was coming. I had the locks changed on a Tuesday. I didn't tell anyone what I'd done. I let the county records update on their own. My cousin Dina found it first. She texted me a screenshot of the property transfer. No message, just the image. Then Callum called. His voice had a tone I had never heard from him before, something thin and careful. He said there must be a mistake. I said there wasn't. He said Mom and Dad had nowhere to go. I said I was aware. He said you can't just... And I said I already did. My parents showed up at the house 3 days later. My mom was crying before she got to the porch. My dad looked smaller than I remembered. She said, "This is our home." I said, "Not according to the deed." She said, "We're your parents." I said, "I know." I remembered that every time I transferred $400 I didn't have. She reached for the door handle and I said, "That key doesn't work anymore." My dad looked at me for a long moment. He said, "You did all this out of spite." I looked at the house I bought outright, in my name, at 28 years old, that no one could touch. And I said, I did all this because nobody else was going to. Callum's watching them from a 1-bedroom. They're in a storage unit conversion 2 towns over, paying weekly. They call me every few days. I let it go to voicemail. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for an apology that's never coming. I stopped waiting and bought the building instead.